recording using. Okay, I try running this on Google Chrome. It
Hmm.
probably records. So wondering, is it the browser? Are you using Chrome as well?
No, I'm using Firefox, but
Okay.
the actual recording feature I think is a premium feature,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be available to everyone right now. But for some strange reason, you can't
Yeah.
see it on the ordinary Google accounts. I had to go and turn it on in the G Suite console so I could use it on this particular account.
Ah,
So I'm not quite sure if we have to do the same um, with your ordinary Meet account. I actually didn't bother checking because I figured I could do it with this. So I should probably
yeah.
check for that soon. Who else is joining us?
Muka and Moses. Let me just find out if 'cause I forwarded your link to them.
Okay, I think Muka is here.
Okay. Cute. Yeah, man. So identity crisis, man. We're at that stage. It's getting
Yeah.
old.
Now I just decided just fuck it. I'll figure it out along the way. I don't think I need to know everything right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I'm kind of in a place where I'm okay with not knowing everything. You know, like not having it all figured out. Like
okay,
there's
just give.
some kind of cool.
I should probably put my phone on silent.
It's unconventional slash conventional tonight. So
Mm,
whatever works, man.
whatever works. I try to avoid phone calls actually. I I think for me, I'm used to it because in the studio when the phone rings, it fucks up the signal and all that shit. So there's this a very annoying feedback that comes, and I don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Hey, dude, how you doing?
My phone, my phone rang during podcast session I had with you guys last time, but it wasn't that
Hi,
audible.
Muka.
Hello, Ray Ko. Turn on your camera, man.
It's on already, I think.
That's not him. He doesn't have a main.
I can't hear him
Nor
either.
nor does he
Is this
have
Muka?
intro. That's supposed to be Muka, yeah. Yellow. Let me find out. He tried to set up his mic or something. Hmm. All right. So yeah. Oh snap. Okay. It's actually recorded. What did you want to talk about, man? Since you're the
Are you asking
conventional.
me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Like I have no idea. When
You're
just
the
when you
only
well, like
guest.
when you asked me, when you said you guys are the conventional type, I was like, fuck you. I'm not doing conventional today. I'm just gonna roll with it. Whatever comes
That's how we do it.
comes.
That's how
I
we do
felt
it. Okay,
pressured.
since you're since you're outnumbered, since you're outnumbered tonight, I guess this will be us interviewing you then, and then
I,
you
I,
could ask us whatever you want to
but
ask us.
yeah, we could probably piggyback and it'll work out. That's all I know.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
faith.
yeah, man. He's
Um,
I mean, okay, it says he's in, but I think just tell him we can't hear. I don't know. You want to get started? Just us, maybe. I don't know. Or you want to?
it's really up to you. I mean, can wait? Can you hear me?
Let me ask him. He's asking if we can hear him. I'm telling him we can't hear him.
I can hear him.
Ask him if he can hear us.
Hello? Hello,
Okay.
hello.
Yeah, now I
Yo,
can hear you. Can you hear me?
yay!
Uh, yeah, I've been hearing you.
Oh, okay.
Dude has got the lighting on. So
I know, right? Like that's why I'm trying to adjust. Like I'm trying to.
he's got the stage
So much
lights.
for you've got stage lights.
Yeah,
Not
we've got
not really
studio,
stage.
studio lights. Sorry.
Lights, okay. You
Because
know
if
what?
it was stage light,
That's fine. My skin is not like the best right now, so I'm fine with like the poor.
Everyone is everyone is stressed out. We're all breaking out, man.
I'm even wishing I had your lighting. Someone shaved me this afternoon.
Dude, you
Wow.
had hair yesterday, man.
You had
What
hair
happened?
yesterday.
He had hair yesterday. We were hanging out yesterday, and he had hair. Who is this I'm
Hmm?
talking to? Who is this I'm seeing right?
Yeah,
Now
girlfriend.
now it makes sense when you're asking about the main. I didn't get it. Now I get it.
Moses won't make it.
He told me he just got home, so I'm sure he's trying to set up. Should we wait for him or we get started and he'll jump in?
Um, he can join in when he joins in.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like the mediator or like the conduit guy here. I'm sure you two know each other,
Oui?
or you feel like you've seen each other before.
Yeah, he does look a little familiar, but
Same here, but I'm very forgetful.
honestly, I don't blame you either. Like,
Yeah.
Try to guess, man.
okay, just give me a moment. I need to
Green tea, Muka. No more caffeine. I got the green tea.
Yeah, no more caffeine, man. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Ginseng.
What did I say here? Okay.
okay, done, and done.
You
Okay,
guys
no more work. For me, no
you
more
guys,
work.
uh-huh.
That's my phone, putting it away. No more work today. Next, I'll be putting this laptop away after this call. So yeah, I'm
No
trying
more
not
work
to
and
stress
then
myself.
what do you mean no more work?
No more work today. Like I resume everything
Oh,
tomorrow.
okay.
Dude, you've still been going to the office.
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. No. Like there's a schedule. So there's 3 people in the department. So each of us is taking turns. Last week I think I was covering for one of the guys, and well, I didn't go to the office last week because I was covering for him 2 weeks ago. And yeah, it just so happened he didn't go to the office last week. But apparently, I'm supposed to go there tomorrow. And because I wasn't there the whole of last week, the whole routine schedule thing, like I just lost it. I don't remember who goes to the office when. So now I'm just like, you know what? I'll just go tomorrow. It's fine.
It's like you have to choose randomly.
Mm.
It's not random, but right now it feels very random.
This COVID thing is going to change a lot of things. It's changing habits and now even work culture.
You think so?
Yeah.
Has anything?
Whoa. Well, that's Moses.
You, you suddenly your audio is suddenly more than normalized, Kuma.
Yeah. So what I do is I use something called Crisp. So
Oh, okay.
Crisp smoothens out my audio and speaker thingy. So my headphones popped out and it went off.
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh, have you heard about that NVIDIA RTX
I'm actually using
noise
it.
background?
Mm-mm,
You use it
I haven't
now?
heard about it.
You might. Yeah, apparently. So you should check it out. It gets rid of background noises. It's an AI that.
Crisp does the same as well.
Oh, that's
NVIDIA
just
what? Yeah, it does.
RTX,
RTX voice. What's it called? Voice what?
RTX voice.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I found it. I'm gonna pin it and check it out.
Yeah,
It's
you should.
insane. Like what they've even demonstrated, like typing on a keyboard and just speaking, it can take out the
Yeah.
keyboard.
No.
Yeah.
Server fans, vacuum cleaner.
So like for me
sound.
specifically, my fridge is right next to me. So
I tried setting it up, but it like messed up my audio drivers because I've got like waves and then like a Behringer.
those
Also, you kind of need an NVIDIA graphics card to set this up.
I think
There's
so.
a cheat.
You don't have one?
No, I don't.
Oh, what are you using?
I know it's not NVIDIA.
Oh, okay.
I haven't bothered to check, actually, to be honest. I just know it's not NVIDIA. Like, I haven't bothered. It's a work computer. I get what I get. It doesn't bother me as much. I try not to get too attached to some of these devices, especially when I know I might not have them
You don't have a personal one?
permanently. I used to have one which did have an NVIDIA graphics card on it, but I gave it to my brother because I had this one and he needed a computer, and it was supposed to be for a month, but I think it's been over a year now. So
From a month to a year.
yeah, so I guess I have given it up officially.
All
So
right.
I was asking what's changed for you guys, like work-wise. Do you feel like there's been like a change towards embracing remote work for those that can?
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. For me, well, prior to me getting a blue collar job, I used to work with Muka. We would like go around doing freelance work. So for the most part, we work from home. So kind of just getting back into that routine is it's taken some getting used to, but yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad.
But hey,
It makes sense the way it is. It's nothing.
For you, yeah, you can speak for yourself because it's pretty much how you work. Yeah.
It's the best way to work. Mm.
You think so?
In the comfort of your home, where you don't
What's
even
your
know if you have slept or not.
What's your take on that, Kuma? Is Kuma with us?
I'm still here.
Oh,
I'm just trying to see. Okay, there's pros and cons. Obviously, I think it works for some people. For others, it doesn't. I'm just used to being up and about. Like I may not be in the office per se, but I'm
yeah.
just used to
Like
being.
interaction with clients and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah, it's half of the time, and the other half maybe just in a cafe or like. Okay, someone's joining in.
Are you the kind of person who finds it hard to like be productive from home? Kuma.
I struggled the first couple of weeks because yeah, I did find it very difficult. Seated in one place for too long just really annoys me, and I needed to like kind of adjust to the whole dynamic of having to self motivate and be
So
disciplined and stuff like that. Hi,
Yeah.
how are you doing?
Moses. Oh, no.
Take off the headstock so that there's two of us.
Why?
Take it off.
no, not happening, son.
But
Good luck
I think both
with that.
both Moses and Muka have the right haircut for.
For what?
But I won't even lie. Like I'm gonna do this haircut really really soon. Like I'm shaving off all my hair. I think I'm just waiting a couple of weeks because there's something else I wanna try with my hair first before I completely shave it off. So
I didn't even get a chance to
You
try
all
out
have
anything
facial,
new.
man. You all have facial hair. Like if I could grow facial hair for the life of me, I would probably get rid of everything up here.
right.
Mocha looks shiny.
He's got a stage light that he doesn't want to call a stage light.
What?
Ooh, change color?
Fancy.
Wow, dude. Wow. That doesn't help you at all, though.
You look like
Yeah. Oh God. Oh. You're bored.
yeah, dude. He had hair yesterday, right?
That's why you're seeing it.
He had hair yesterday.
I'm even lucky I kept these.
Anyway, man, how is it? I didn't even get introduced actually.
We haven't even done any introductions at all.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, when I think about it.
We just
Nah, so maybe we should like take a step back and do introductions first.
Kuma, you're like the boss at this.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not.
Welcome to the Ethos DevCon Zambia crossover podcast. You're joined by
Actually, not even DEFCON Zambia. It's terrible.
Okay.
DevCon Zambia CodeCast's podcast.
Look, just because I'm using the DEFCON email doesn't mean it's DEFCON. This is outside DEFCON. They're gonna kill me.
We're hijacking. It's official. DevCon on
Why
What?
are you using the email?
DevCon on the stream.
So for DEFCON we have the G Suite subscription, so it's easier to do the stream and like the call and record it as well. I didn't want to use Zoom either because I've had problems with it like the last couple of weeks. So
The hackers?
no. It's not even I don't even mind being hacked, to be honest, these days. So that wasn't like a big problem.
This is just giving up with everything.
Not
You
completely.
know, man. What's
Not
going
completely. So yes, my name is Mukuma, but everybody just calls me Kuma. So I'm on the CodeCast's podcast. I help run DevCon, which is a developer conference Zambia. I do a bunch of other stuff as well, but those two primarily are what's taking up a lot of my time.
Oh, okay.
Your phone, Moses.
No, it's not. Nope.
The heck is that? Okay, anyway.
It's yours.
Nice. Welcome to the Ethos podcast, Kuma.
Thank you.
Nice
Great-
having you.
Yeah.
Wait, who's the guest here and who's the host?
I'm
it's
shocked.
It's because he's
Yes.
using the DevCon email that it's confusing.
And he's outnumbered.
He's outnumbered, huh?
Yeah.
And here I was thinking this is a crossover episode, and suddenly it switched up. I'm now a guest somewhere. So
Where's Elias and Cynthia when you need them?
there's I was telling Tumelo earlier that when I was rescheduling this recording, I asked him if Monday is okay, and I don't remember him getting back to me about that. So it completely slipped my mind. And
Wait,
he's telling me, "Hey, dude, we have a podcast recording today." I'm like, "Oh shit!" And now because like we have like a rule in our group, like if you wanna set up a recording, like it has to be a couple of days in advance because these people are so fucking busy. Like
Right here. I've backtracked.
Dude, like
Maybe-
these guys, getting these people in the same room together is hard. Like those you even have to schedule 2 weeks in advance.
No.
Getting them on the same call is just as hard. So like,
Yeah, you're like 7:30 p.m. for an hour, and I was like, all right, let me ask him. And I was like, all righty then, they're cool with it. And I was
oh shit, I didn't see it.
You go back to me the following day about something else.
Ah shit, sorry, my bad.
It's been a long time coming actually.
Yeah,
We've been
definitely.
waiting for a while.
Yeah, because we spoke about it when last year, right?
Last year.
Wow.
Was it earlier this year? No, that was last year, right? That was last year. Yeah.
That was December, I think, when we spoke about it.
Yeah.
Man, how long have we had this podcast?
For a year now, I think.
Serious?
It's been a year?
Yeah, it's been a
April
Big-
last year. April.
Yeah, it's been
2020.
over a year. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. How's your
Thanks.
experience been?
It's been fun. It's been great. After all these triumphs, we have
okay.
yes.
There.
That's all you had. That's it. I'm disappointed. No, like on the real though, what's been the biggest challenge for you guys?
Getting
Tech,
Ebo Chungo on the podcast.
Well, you haven't got him yet, I assume.
Nah.
Monetizing.
Blue ticking you, Not responding at all. Tells you he's gonna be there, but doesn't show up.
Yeah, you sound like you're talking from experience, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the game, man.
What?
But it's part of the game. Or I thought
Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
Wait, are you afraid to like disclose some names that you tried to get on your podcast that are pretty much studio up?
Mm. No, I don't think I should talk about that though. To be
Okay,
honest,
cool.
yeah,
I wish it. Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about that.
But,
It's a little
dude, all right.
sensitive. Huh?
So how did you get started, man? With first, let's
No,
go.
you didn't answer the question he asked about the biggest challenge we faced so far. I think mostly is the challenge is with the platforms we've tried out, like Anchor and everything. Monetization, basically, just that is the biggest thing that has brought us that has been the drawback to this whole thing. And yeah, I guess with iTunes in, hopefully we'll have that sorted out. I don't know for the guys. I don't know if the challenge was to actually engaging with the people with the guests on the podcast, and I don't know if any of our anxieties have like gone away or something. I don't know.
For me, it's just tech. Otherwise, as raw as it been, that random feel, like whatever happens. As long as it's done, it's done. I was okay with that. But the technology, trying to set it up, starting off with very is it conventional, unconventional methods, like that, putting a phone in a cut up Coca-Cola bottle to put it on a stand, like stuff. Very fun things. Yeah.
Yeah, and the angles of the camera angles, actually. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster. It's been fun, scary, and yeah, I don't know if, how long have you been doing this?
So we've been doing it since 2018. Yeah, since February 2018, March 2018, because I think we were doing 2 years recently. Yeah. So yeah, we were lucky. We were lucky because when we started, because I used to do a lot of work for global platforms, with global platforms, so they were setting up the studio thing, and actually, it wasn't even because of that we started the podcast. It was just a random tweet. Like, I wanted to do it. I tweeted about it. Elias jumped on it, and a couple of other people on the internet jumped on it, and yeah, so we started, the three of us, me, Elias, and another guy by the name of Wesley, and then we wanted to balance it up. Wait, did you ask me something?
Repeat the last name.
Wesley.
Wesley. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we wanted to balance it up. So we wanted female as well on the panel, like just like not have it, or you know how it works, like when.
No, I don't know.
Okay. I just thought like the direction. I think I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but
No, I'm
I
just
just
kidding,
wanted to add a
man.
different dimension to it. Yeah, I just wanted to add a different dimension to it. So like initially, what I had in mind was 4 hosts, 2 female, 2 male, and then like would go on like this rotational basis where people like would all host like different episodes on our own or together and stuff. Like, we didn't really have anything figured out when we started, so we wanted to try just 10 episodes to start and then see how it worked. But then I think we got too invested, and then suddenly we just got sucked into it like full on. Now we got really invested, started working on some of the challenges that you guys are referring to. We had also the technology. We started on SoundCloud, but then that got messy really quickly when we started talking about paying £11 every month.
Whoa.
And then I had a guest on the 5th episode of the podcast, and he's the one that actually introduced me to Anchor. And the moment I found out my distribution was sorted, I needed no other convincing factor. I moved instantly, and we moved from SoundCloud to Anchor. Then we started worrying about the issues that were really affecting us, which was quality. So like even with the equipment that was there, we just weren't getting the kind of quality that we were looking for at the beginning. I think we started off, if you're starting at like 1 or starting at 5 out of 10, it's better. But we started at like 1. Like it was that bad. Like when I listened to the first 10 episodes, I can hear the improvement dramatically with each episode. Of course, we had like some episodes that were really bad. Like even after sorting out some sound issues, like you still have something that pops up eventually. I'm a bit of a perfectionist sometimes, and when I was talking to Dumela earlier, I was telling him I don't want to be a bad client because I know we're supposed to work on some stuff together. So like, I don't want to be a bad client, and that comes from like this perfectionist mindset. Like I want, if I can, I want the best. If it's within like my means, I want the best. But it was hard because I didn't have the means, and I wanted the best. I think that's what forced me to think about monetization, and I had the same problems monetization with Anchor. So like we're doing a lot of experiments trying to figure out how we can monetize and stuff like that. And I think we are on our way to building out our own donations portal and trying to integrate like with payment systems and stuff like that.
Like Indiegogo, Patreon, I don't know which others are there.
Patreon doesn't work for us because we still face the same challenges, and you still need to find some kind of workaround to kind of get your. We want something that's just works.
It's not listed on their was it available countries?
With Zambia on Patreon? Last I checked, no. So the workaround that I was trying to do was order a card using like the Google Summer of Code competition, and then use that card to kind of withdraw money and stuff. But I really don't want to go through all that stuff. So we actually settled on Flutterwave because it was easy for us, like to integrate Flutterwave, like the payment platform. Yeah. So like it was easy for us to like collect the money, and because direct transfer into your bank account. So
were you using them as in directly using their own technologies or integrated a payment system?
No, not directly using their own technologies. So like you're familiar with how it works, right? Flutterwave.
Yeah, I've had to integrate it, though with one of my clients, they have very poor service, as in customer service generally. Like there was a payment that took almost 3 weeks to settle. And the first week was because they say there was a setting you guys were supposed to put, instead of telling us what setting are we supposed to put, and say that's the reason it took long. Then in the second week, at the beginning of it, we say, okay, we've set it up the way you guys are saying it. So you're saying 2 days to settle the payment. It took another 2 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard about that. Like, we actually haven't even finished. We did the tests and all that stuff, but then the problem I had was, there's a bit of a confusion. I don't know who exactly is like supposed to be our customer, relationship partner, whether it's the office in Nigeria or the office here. Like I get conflicting things. I had an issue with setting up like country of origin for like your currency and stuff like that. So like this dude from like the main company tells me you don't have to worry about that, like however, automatically detect and stuff like that. I get a call like 2 months later, and this person is telling me, like from the country office here, this person is telling me, hey, you set up the wrong currency. And I'm like, but I reached out to support and I was told this. No, you're not supposed to do it like that. Now you need to do this. At that point, we were already delaying ourselves like internally, like we haven't finished because we just really haven't had the time to get back on it. And I just figured, hey, might as well just look for an alternative. So
I think
also exploring like a WooCommerce integration or something. So
you've actually succeeded integrating that, or it's still in process.
the integration is already done. We can receive payments. It's just there was a bit of an issue internally with how we wanted the customer journey to be. So we needed to make some changes to our website so that it can fit into the journey that we wanted. But then, we just haven't gotten around to making those huge adjustments. Actually, our site is so still right now. I think the last update we had was from maybe episode 21. I think we haven't updated since then, and we're on episode 31 now. So, that's us how badly we need to look at it again and see
I
what
think
we can do.
after this, there's another thing. There's another gateway locally that you can use. It's BroadPay in Zambia with Flatwave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're supposed to look into that ourselves, but I think the bridge we are going through is YouTube. So when you say that 1 out of 10%, well, we have the cameras, the first setup. Like you use which camera is it? What's the model name again? It's a Fujitsu, right? We
But the camera we use?
yeah, the first one, like that one, the other one.
Isn't it an icon?
Yeah, it's an
icon.
icon. Yeah.
So like we start recording and we're like we have enough space in the card. We record, the whole podcast finishes, we check, it's only recorded 24 minutes. And then on the next one, we try the phone. Yeah, it's good. It can even do 4K. Let's just do 1080p, fine. We record the whole thing. We realize it chops them up into 4 gigabytes. And it would come out to like roughly as well, 24, 27 minutes. Then when joining, there's like a small split. So yeah, just so we're still on that trip. But yeah.
But it's been working out so far.
Yeah.
Apart from procrastinating on coming up with the website that will host the whole episodes. Yeah, that's like I know.
Do you feel like that was a necessary process for you to go through, Kuma, with CodeCast? Like you kind of having some kind of a timestamp of progression of sorts, where it was like, oh, we started out here, the first 5 episodes kind of weren't as good audio-wise, but then, oh, look, the 5 episodes I came after sound better. Did you feel like that was a necessary process for you to like document?
Go through.
Yeah.
Well, documenting, I still feel that it's very necessary to document the process that you go through. We haven't gotten around to it because, again, resources.
But you have documented it somewhat because it's online. It's out there. Like if I had to go online and like go through your catalog of like episodes and whatnot, I could start from the beginning to the most recent episode, and I could tell the difference. So my question was, do you feel like that was a necessary process for you to go through, or do you feel like you should have started at a point where everything was like top notch, like no crappy audio, no nothing, where it's just like
nah. Like I'll tell you one thing. Like I'm not an advocate for you should suffer before you make it or whatever.
Yeah.
But in our particular scenario, again, back to resources, there's really no other place to start. And when I go back and I think about it, none of us on like the CodeCast's podcast are coming from like a media, none of us have any experience in media, radio, nothing completely, content creation, nothing. Like maybe we've written blog posts and we've done all that stuff, but then coming into this space, I think it was necessary for us to learn the basic building blocks of what content creation actually is. And even up to now, I can't even tell you if I know anything really. Like everything is experimental, and that's how we treat it. Every episode is experimental. We're still like in the early stages, even though we've been doing it for like 2 years. We're still in the very early stages of doing anything that we're doing. And
Yeah.
part of like that progression also was just being open to hearing what people have to say, which is why, like, when you're talking about the conventional and the unconventional, like that came from experience, like deciding
Yeah.
where we're going to be, which side we're going to stick to, came from like experience.
Yeah.
Trying to jail people that were never really friends to begin with, like who most of us got closer after starting the podcast. So even the conversations weren't the most fluid. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the conversational cues, like you see when someone is done talking, like, you know when to jump in. Like,
Yeah.
those are underrated like skills, man. I can tell you.
I relate 100%. 100%. Yeah.
And now it's harder because we're doing remote conversations and we don't even do video like you guys. So like I can't see you.
Yeah.
So I have to now use audio cues like to know when I can chime in. It's been so difficult that there's an episode where we tried it, but it was so messy. I just like had to coordinate using like a Zoom chat. Like, Elias, go next. Pause. Like, you know,
Wow.
like that's how we did it. And for that particular episode, it worked out really well. But then we didn't do it in the next episode, and it worked out really well. But I think that came from like understanding like each other's audio tone. Like you figure it out. Like, okay, she's almost done talking, or he's almost done talking, and then I can chime in and stuff like that. So
Interesting.
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the process is actually it's fun to actually build something from scratch, and let alone just doing it from you not knowing anything, you having to experiment, you having to just live in the moment, to just seize the day, and everything. It's been a process, just like yours. It's been similar to your process as well with us, because in that, for us, it's about our ethos, our circle, our shared beliefs and everything. So this that made us come together and start this podcast, and it was just out of the blue. Oh, let's start the podcast, and boom, episode 1, we're in. And it was a less painful process, I would say. We didn't actually we didn't actually want to do it perfectly. We want to do it step by step. Yeah, just from scratch, and we learn, we grow, and we improve on what's there. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
okay, so like I couldn't hear you for like 40 seconds because I touched my mic, like my thing in my headphones again, and
Oh,
yeah.
Anyway,
And I guess you couldn't hear me because I was saying I can't hear you guys because my thingy. So I guess you couldn't hear me either.
the COVID era, dude.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not even complaining. Like it's something like this was bound to happen eventually. Like
I think
the world was too peaceful.
Happened now than later, because it's like a shake-up before the country changes. The elections that are coming, somehow I think it's going to help people think. I think, let's not get into the politics of it, but
What do you mean?
Like you know how it is. Like, oh, we've had load shedding the first 3 years, then in the fourth year, all of a sudden there's no load shedding. Now this one is like beyond everyone's control. Everyone has to think about who's going to protect us when this happens again. You know?
Yeah.
I'd like to believe that, but
this is a conspiracy theory as well. Are you one of those guys, Kuma?
who believes that the virus is a conspiracy theory?
Yeah, like it's about engineered weapon and 5G. Like
honestly, I don't give two fucks, man. To be honest, I really don't. I sometimes I wish I did, but I really don't. Like whether it's biologically engineered weapon or it happened naturally. Fact of the matter is it's happening. And whatever powers that may be, I have no control over it. Like
because I even wanted to ask, like, is because we can't do anything about it, why should we care?
Yeah, like it's very hard to care. And think about all the other possible conspiracy theories that exist in this world. How are you gonna know if they're true or not?
Itself, right? HIV. You know, is it
Right?
chimpanzees? They have HIV, and they're saying, is it which vaccine was it? Polio? Is it the polio vaccine when it was first being tested? They tested it on Africans, and that's how we got HIV. There's a documentary about that.
The Chinese. I think the Chinese president said something in the lines of, "If the world wants us to apologize for Corona, then it has to start with the USA apologizing for AIDS first."
You know what? Like I could hate these people as with a passion or all that stuff, but right now, I mean, people are dying, man. Like this is. And going back to the politics of it all, to be honest, like as Zambians were very passive. We're very passive, very passive people. We're very tolerant people. We are also very forgiving, which I think are some of our best traits, but also some of our weakest. Yeah. So like somehow I wish it happened closer to the elections, but then that means the elections that have been delayed. So like right now we have just over a year, right?
Yeah.
Just over a year, right? I mean, the curve is flattening in many places. By December, we'll still have the virus going around, but it won't be as lethal.
Yeah, by then to be kind of like considered to be a flu, basically.
Yeah, but then we'll have 9 months. We'll have 9 months before the actual, which is more than enough time. For Zambians, even 1 month is enough time to forget. That's what I've learned.
It's like a baby. It's like a child. They're like babies. We forget easily.
Well, I just say forgiving. We're very forgiving. That's all. We're forgiving and.
No, but we do not forget though. We say I never wanna cheat. And I just time.
But at the end of the day, that doesn't stop you. It doesn't stop you.
But we don't do anything about it.
Exactly.
We know this happened, but we do not just care enough to actually do something about it because we are preoccupied with trying to make a living. But just like I'm partial about everything else, I'm not. I would say I don't care much, but again, that would be a wrong thing to say because people are actually dying out of this whole thing. You know,
it could be anybody.
Yeah, so for me, like the cause doesn't bother me so much what caused everything. It's just what happens now and what happens in the future. So we just recorded another episode which we published on Friday, and this is exactly what we're talking about, like how passive we are in terms of a community. Like right now I have 2 backup internet connections because why should I have 2 backup internet connections? Like it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, why can't you have one reliable one?
Yeah, one reliable.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was trying to connect. I was using a Zamtel network. Should I? Zamtel. Then I've now switched to Airtel. It's working, but
Airtel is working.
Yeah,
I should congratulate them. They've come back.
No, like Ethos is actually not bad, to be honest. Like if like I have Zamtel at home as well, and it used to be a reliable connection, but now it really isn't. So if I notice it's flaky, I'm automatically switching to Airtel. Like they are my consistent backup internet connection. I actually have like 20 Mbps on my Airtel network. No, it was not even a router. It was my phone. Just set up a hotspot and I can get those speeds.
Yes, your max speed is 20 Mbps.
20 Mbps. Yeah, I get that on the regular.
Upstream and downstream.
Which is strange, I know. Strange. I was even showing someone the other day because I was trying to download a movie. I wanted to watch Civil War again. So
Yeah.
I was downloading this 7 GB 4K movie on the Zamtel connection, and I couldn't go over 200 kilobytes per second. So now I'm checking like the bandwidth speed, and Airtel has like a significantly higher like bandwidth than I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? Zamtel.
But Melo, your Zaptel yesterday, it was like 2 MBs per second.
Yeah.
Compared to like, okay, I'm using Velocity. For Velocity, they say it's supposed to be 3 MBs, but it's 400 KBs.
Of course, throttling.
Yeah, but you get like 4 MBs on Zamtel, then Airtel here, maybe it's because of the area, maybe. And this is IBEX. It's but like if I was Skyping, I mean, if I was streaming through Airtel right now, there would be nothing there.
Oh yeah,
nothing.
so it depends on the area you're in.
Yeah, I guess so.
So Kuma, you said you're into other things as well, like apart from CodeCast and DevCon.
DevCon.
Yeah. Agora, man. You couldn't even give a shout out to Agora.
No. I knew it was going to come up. I was gonna get to it eventually. So I usually don't talk about it much because it's a work thing. Like I usually never want the office to know that I have a consultancy company, because I just feel like it brings so many interesting dynamics. So I don't talk about the consultancy company much, but the Agora Code community is something I'm very passionate and proud of, because we set out to fill some gaps which we thought were there in the community, and I believe they still are. And it's unfortunate that over the last year or so, there's been so much that's happened. Like, we've taken on so much responsibility that it's been very difficult to continue working on growing the developer community within Lusaka and all that stuff. But basically, I like to think of myself as a community leader as well, movement builder, community builder, all those things, because I find myself doing this all the time, and I guess it's part of me. Like, I like to get involved in things that are happening around me that benefit the community in one way or another. So Agora Code was part of that. So we wanted to do workshops. We wanted to make sure that we organize events that are relevant to the community. I know Tumelo and I worked a lot together because of the Global Game Jam, which we hosted for, I think, 2 years in a row.
You guys had to hand over the reins?
I'm sorry?
You had to hand over the reins or something, because I noticed that Liquid Telecom and Nerd Otaku have taken over that. Like, I don't see your name as a part of it anymore.
No. So what we did was we reached out to Nerd Otaku and said we won't be able to host a Global Game Jam for, I think that was this year. And they were willing to take it over and continue what we were trying to do. So we were in the background helping out quite a lot. I think I was there the first couple of days, but not for too long. And the whole thing behind whatever it is we are trying to do is, it doesn't really matter if our name is on the board. What's most important is that the actual event goes through. I think personally, I was trying not to fall into the trap of gatekeeping certain activities or events. I think that's what got us into this mess in the first place, where we're lagging behind as a country. A lot of people gatekeep stuff, and the stuff I refer to is just information that everybody should have, access to community networks that everybody should have. Because at the end of the day, it's like how I think about podcasts. One of the reasons our numbers are so low is because not many people know about podcasts. How does it benefit me if I don't share my pitfalls and my challenges with other people who are trying to get into the space? The fact of the matter is, I'm not going to put in the money to start raising awareness so that I can get more listens and I can get to that minimum threshold where I can put ads on my show and gain some kind of lucrative, monetization revenue model from it. I think it benefits me more if there's so many other people doing it, and
then it actually carries more value.
it carries more value. It means someone else is literally allowing someone to like my podcast because they're suddenly now listening to podcasts. You know, it's a general problem around Africa, which
Yeah,
is why
'cause
we've even expanded our
if the flavors are not enough in a restaurant, people get tired and bored. You know, they wouldn't stick around that much. But where there is a variety of people, maybe a doctor or a nurse just has a simple podcast. People notice that. Another one has got talks about their work. Maybe they're in mining. You get curious. Oh, miners. Also, this is what happens with miners. You know, you get a variety. It's like a whole set of channels. That becomes a platform to actually invest in locally as well for companies as well, because
yeah,
that's
definitely.
entrepreneurship and stuff.
And I think this is the general problem around everything, not just podcasting. I mean, even music, even what the arts generally. I mean, I'm on Twitter. Like I like Twitter. Twitter is like my medium because I can pretty much pick my content.
I'm
Like
scared
I
of
know what I
Twitter.
want to see. I know. I'm sorry.
I'm scared of Twitter.
Like I know what content I want to see, and I'm I'm very consistent with that. Like, and I've seen so many people like berate other people for starting vlogs or whatever,
Yeah.
and I don't get it. Why would we want to put down other people for starting YouTube channels and just doing whatever it is that they're interested in at the time? I didn't know I was going to continue podcasting till now. Like, it's something and I was okay with stopping at some point if it's not something that interested me this long. That's how I figured out that I like content creation. I might suck at it now, but I still enjoy doing it and I want to improve. So why do we not give everybody
But
that
I
opportunity?
I think at the level where Zambia is in terms of such things, blogging, vlogging, podcasts, and what, you can't even say you suck. There's no comparison. Who else is there? Let's put up the names. You won't even see a chat of 20. So you just have to do it. And if you, for me, I find it very, very beneficial. Like you come
Yeah,
to
it is.
so much just by talking to people, even our own circle. If me, Tumelo, and Moses just sat down to podcast, all of a sudden we have enough to talk about. And if people get to like see that, they'll find something to pick up here and there, you know. So
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think I've deliberately chosen to set my standards much higher than the normal within like my realm, and that's why I guess I was complaining about me being sort of like a perfectionist with some of this stuff, is because sometimes I forget. Like I'm looking at like NPR style. I'm like, hey, I
Yeah.
want to sound like Planet Money. I want to sound like Reply All, like that level of quality, fam. A lot of money goes into that, and I want, even if it's just for like a year, I want to do that kind of quality like audio at some point. I think if I was to achieve that, I'd stop even. I'd be like, this is what I wanted to do. I'm
yeah,
done.
you've
I'm
reached your
done.
goal.
See you
Yeah.
guys. I'm out. I'm out.
Achieve that. What's next?
Yeah.
What next? Yeah.
Was it
And,
like?
and
Sorry, man.
no, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask if it was like a deliberate incentive that you had for CodeCast, like looking at the stuff that you talk about on CodeCast Zambia. Like you're focused on a specific kind of like field or area, for lack of better terms. Was that like a deliberate incentive, or
Yeah,
are
it
you
was.
trying to like?
No,
You know,
it was very deliberate in the beginning.
Yeah.
It was very deliberate in the beginning. If anything, in the very beginning, it was a very niche community that we were actually looking at. I think we were very technical. And I think along the way, we just decided that, okay, we're too technical, and maybe we should kind of step back a bit and be a bit more
Flexible.
flexible. And I think the word is dynamic. Yeah, you're right about dynamic.
Yeah.
So I think if you really look at our episodes, like if you look at the title list of all our episodes we've done, like you will notice that there's no method to this madness. It just happens. Like I used to have like a schedule. Like I used to sit down and arrange a schedule for the year. Like we're gonna do this episode, we're gonna do it this time, we'll do this one next because I feel like it builds on this. But believe me, it ended at making a plan. After that, everything just went out the window. So like when you look at the title list, it's really all over the place, and I think it's okay. Like I've just chosen to say, okay, guys, like I know we're not like the most consistent in how we pick our content for each episode, but I think it's okay. We're just trying to have fun, and we shouldn't lose that. Like just having fun with it. If you want to talk about something, just talk about it. Like we'll support you.
Don't lose the human aspect of it. Like it starts to sound more robotic, for lack of better terms, because like most people will not relate, and it will be like pretentious and whatnot. Oh, he's making a voice for radio or whatever. I don't know if that's on radio, but I'm just
I get that a lot,
like,
by the way. Like I have a voice for podcasts. That's what I'm told consistently.
you have a presence. So I guess just making it as relatable as possible.
What about you guys? Like, have you had any struggles with making relatable content? Like, I know we've had issues, even in terms of being pretentious. I think we did get a little robotic at some point, and maybe because I think we're trying too hard. I think we, and I actually haven't had a retrospective with the team for a long time, but I think we were trying to kind of fit into this like global idea of what podcasting should be. Like we weren't really looking at our local context, for example, and just going with the flow in how we want to relate to everyone around us, like our peers and stuff like that. So like, did you ever have those problems? Like I've listened to your podcast and I enjoy it. Like it's got a very natural like vibe to it, and I think that's very attractive.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I think in terms of the content itself, Tumelo has a perspective. If you don't bring it up, I'll bring it up. But for me, I'll just talk about like the ease in having the topics and stuff like that. It always kind of depends on the people we communicate with. It's always been about you, like you, for example. There's a lot that you have talked about. You're like the work culture you're experiencing now, COVID, and your experience in your work, like the projects you've been doing, the podcast, the journey, and so on. It comes out so naturally. Like if someone came on the podcast and all they had in their whole history is how they made a cup of coffee in the morning, that would be sufficient, I would think, for me, like in our podcast. So it hasn't been a struggle really, because people have a lot to say. And for us, our target is like getting that part of you. Like, what do you have to say? What would you like people to know about you? And the crucial part for us, because like we say, we have our shared belief, we would like to know how you relate to like your faith, how your faith relates to your work and so on, because we actually, everything about us revolves around our beliefs. So it hasn't been as tricky. Now, the way those topics would come out in conversations, because it's raw, there's no specific way. Yeah, like you can't, we don't say at this point we're asking this specific thing. There was a point where it became a bit like Tumelo at the beginning was the only one listening to the podcast for editing. I would only hear them at the end. So
the final cut.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think I can leave it to Tumelo.
Oh yeah, but I actually have. Yeah, he's going to talk about that, but I actually have a different perspective actually. So the thing is, remember you guys when we went to DC Talk Radio and we were introducing Stilet to everybody, and there was a point where you guys came late and I was trying to reach you. I was trying to let's plan out the way the interview is going to go and everything. But you said, let's just go there and everything. Let's just go there and do it. Then from that day, it actually gave me like every episode we've had. I haven't like planned anything. I've just been moving with the flow. I was just there, and just like this one, I actually forgot like that we're going to have an episode.
Mukuma called me to talk about something else. I was like, dude, are we supposed to be having a podcast today, man?
You know, when I was carrying the call, I was telling you, hey, dude, I'll call you tomorrow. Like, I'll call you tomorrow, and we'll talk about this particular thing tomorrow. Then he's like, are we supposed to record today? I'm like, oh shit, today's Monday, right?
Yeah. So exactly.
But wait, before you say something, I wanted to, when Moses was talking, this reminded me of something. And I don't think I've ever said this to anyone. I think for me, like my biggest fear, my biggest it's not like that. But anyway, my biggest fear is like, especially with going with the flow, especially with us, is because of like how our content is structured. It's not always that we are talking about our individual beliefs like to the core. There's certain topics that will come up. Like it's something that I've never really experienced, so I don't really have an opinion of it. So it scares me to go into it without planning for it first, because I don't want to like mislead someone or like I that's one thing like I've really tried not to do. And lately what I try to do is, if there's an episode and I know that I don't know enough about this and I don't even want to try and know about this, then I will sit it out. I'll sit it out and I was like, you guys just record and I'll catch up on the next one. So like I think I've been on episodes where I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and it doesn't feel nice.
In that regard, from my angle, I think I would take that as an opportunity to like learn about what that is actually about. Like I'd ask, I'll ask. Oh, okay. Like I have no idea what this is about, but if our guest is a pro in that field, then that's a chance to like learn about that.
And among us, the three of us, Tumelo is actually the most prepared host in each and every interview.
No shit.
I would say Kuma doesn't believe that for 1 second.
Right, it's true. It's the truth.
Yeah, was like everything. Like if we had a pivot to control the balance of this, like the scaling, the balance in the podcast. It's always like you're that center, you know. Like if something,
I think you got that from me. I don't believe that shit. You know, like high school. Like I think we did this thing in like 11th grade. Sure, like 10th grade, 11th grade, we did this thing.
Yeah.
Remember that song we did on stage and that shit, all that stuff.
Oh, we did.
Do you remember how much I had to push you guys around just to do that shit and be on time with shit? You most prepared now, fam. Huh?
Was I one of the worst? I don't think I was.
No, you're not one of the worst, but you're definitely among the bad apples.
Really? That must be serious, because the fact that you brought it up at this point in time means it probably weighed heavy on you at the time.
It did, and only because of one reason. At that time, I was very controlling. Like when I set my mind to do something and I want to do it right.
Control freak.
Yeah, like it had to work.
That's a perfectionist for you.
Yeah, it had to work, fam. So you have to be on time. If we're practicing, you have to be on time. Nothing should go wrong.
but at the end of the day, we delivered. Because I remember us totally crushing that thing.
Yeah, no, you totally killed it, man.
Yeah,
totally killed it.
What was that then?
So well, I'm not even gonna pretend like I don't remember. This is one of my proudest moments. So
even trying amnesia.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know it was like I don't remember if it was Independence Day but I know it was around October. So there was like this. I'll call it a variety show, basically. I think that's what it was. At its core, that's what it was. And you could do whatever you wanted. You could like perform a song. You could do some kind of artsy thing, like whatever it was. But I don't even know who came up with this idea, to be honest. I just know that we set our minds up to do Black Eyed Peas, Where Is the Love? And I mean, we were kind of blessed. We had like people who could like do music in my class, and that was like I was like, oh shit, we have everything we need. We just need to like get together and do this thing. And there was money on the line, guys. There was money on the line. These guys didn't see it, but there
I
was
don't
money
even
on the
remember
line.
there being money.
There was money, fam. We
What
had money.
you guys won
I
in
don't remember that.
Angel?
First place, fam. First place. So
So Tumelo didn't even get a cut of the money.
I don't think he did because I don't think
Now
any
I
of us
get the
got,
amnesia.
I don't think any of us got the money because I feel like it was too little money to split with everyone. So we just ended up doing something collective, like as a class. Or something like
What
that,
did
yeah.
we do? We got a cake. What?
I think we got cake. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Good
cake
time.
would be worth it.
Good time.
Yeah.
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 So
I
yeah,
don't think-
going back to the control, like being prepared.
Yeah.
I think lately I just pick and choose what I'm interested in. So if I'm not really interested in it, I won't. I prefer not to get on. But if I'm interested, I will get on and I will do a little research, and then the rest of it will just go with the flow. Like I've had a lot of people complain that we are unscripted because we try to be unscripted as well. But I think Tumelo's been on the show quite a number of times. We just lay out like a bunch of general questions just to give you an idea of what, because sometimes the topics are too broad and we don't want to like go off on a tangent. So like we lay out an outline. Okay, these are the points that we want to touch, and then whatever happens within the episode happens. We touch them. We touch them. We don't. At least I know would have covered at least more than half of the stuff. And it's usually just 3 questions, really, just 3 general questions. It's never like really detailed and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I think for us the only to touch is about religion and your faith as a guest and everything. That's the only thing. Where
Social topics as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't like really sat down to say we're going to talk about this in this episode, we're going to talk about this, or everything has been in the moment. Every question, after doing some research on the guest, and we just let it flow like that.
Yeah.
The,
So
only
wait.
the only part that's like well, that the guest usually gets involved in is at the beginning.
What happens at the beginning?
We let the guests
Are we all
talk
looking at
about
Tumelo? What happens at the beginning?
themselves. We let the guest be narcissistic for a good 30 minutes just to talk about themselves, why they do what they do, how they started doing it, all that good stuff. And then from there we get to a point in time, in the episode where we ask the guest if they're at liberty to talk about it, where they stand as far as like their faith is concerned, and then
Ask me.
pretty much gets interesting from there. I'm going to ask you right now.
Control.
You had the question though.
Yeah, he had a question.
I haven't forgotten the question. I was actually going to ask about the same thing because I've heard you guys use the word faith quite a lot and religion and everything. So I was actually going to ask what that's all about generally. Like, was it an active choice from the very beginning? Is it something that kind of brought you guys together?
Zambia is a Christian nation, man.
No, Zambia is a very pretentious Christian nation. Don't dare. Do you see how many people are trying to scam you in the streets? You're actually a Christian nation.
Not just the streets.
And people aren't even ashamed. People are busy plundering resources and they're not ashamed.
So
we're only a Christian nation when it feels like it benefits us. We're trying to police morals.
It's convenient.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's interesting in that context. So just looking at all that chaos, we try to figure out where is this person standing at this point in time, like as far as like their philosophies are concerned, their faith, their beliefs, like what's going through this person's mind, and how are they dealing with everything that's going on right now? Like, so are they attributing whatever skill set they have to like a higher being or
higher power?
Just
Okay.
pretty much let's revert. Let me ask you, where do you
So
stand?
should I answer
No,
your
no,
question?
no, no. But he had a second. There was a second part to the question actually.
Oh.
Yeah, he asked if faith connects us in a way that
Oh yeah,
if faith is the reason why we're connected. Actually, yeah, I would say yes.
To some
It's
extent.
actually to the largest extent actually. So
Yeah.
I actually met Melo through that was we wanted to do a song and everything, but we ended up doing a Bible study after recording a hip hop track. Then I got connected to Muka through him because of the Kalikliki social welfare project we're doing at the time. Yeah, basically faith and the passion to help out the community in
and maybe it was just meant to
just
be,
You know
man.
what?
Because
Now I know where I know Muka from. Shit.
ah
It took me a while. I figured it out. Obi, right?
Yes. Yes.
you
Yeah.
first, man.
ah
Remember this guy.
The Hitman. What did
Wait,
we
what?
call you in high school, man? Were you Agent 47? You were. That was that Monica. The Hitman, Kuma. I mean, not Kuma. Muka.
Yes, I was called the Hitman.
Yes.
Well, I didn't even know that, to be honest. But I just distinctly remember
Oh,
that you've always
yeah.
had a boat head, though. You always had the boat head, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that. I remember that now. I remember. Oh shit.
If I'm going to make someone pay for it.
He produced a couple of tracks for Obi as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember because Obi spent quite a lot of time with you. House 8, right?
Yeah.
You guys
Fine.
spent quite a lot of time together. Yeah. No, I remember now. I
Yeah, just going
remember.
back to what Moses talked about, like, yeah, it's weird because like Moses' dad and my dad, we actually planned for them to meet for the first time today, and we thought, like, to our surprise, they told us that they actually know each other from like way back before
yeah, I was shocked, man.
we were born, like in the 80s, man. So it was like, what? So
Small world.
And like it's been
Really
built
small
since
world.
they met.
But I think they work together in the Christian Council. Even
also, yeah,
yeah, they were colleagues.
are doing similar projects together. Like years later, we meet up, we link up, and we're like, yeah, let's do something for the people that aren't as privileged. So we had this project where every Sunday we'd go to Kalikiliki to like teach the kids basic computer science skills and business management skills in general, just to help them get by and whatnot. So yeah, I guess that's when we started talking about an idea for the podcast, because our main incentive was to document that process. But then we're like,
Yeah.
why not talk about it on some kind of a platform? And if we could do it in like long form conversation format, and maybe bring a guest and like bring a guest that does something that they feel is bigger than them, and ask and like just get to pick their brain and find out why they do that. So yeah, having people like you on, that's pretty much
Yeah, like people actually connect to large communities, reaching more people than one.
Yeah.
True. That is true.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to answer your question?
Or the faith thing, go. The floor is yours, man.
Okay. Where do I stand? I think I'm at this point in my life where I feel like I'm at a crossroads. Like I definitely believe in a higher power. Like I definitely believe that nothing we do is by coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. Everything is interconnected. Like I wouldn't go as far as saying, "Hey, the universe needs balance" and all that stuff, but I definitely feel like whatever I do, whatever I've achieved up until this point, like whatever I don't think it's because of me per se, but I'm at that point where now I just recognize that it's it's not like I'm not looking for a miracle. Like I see a miracle happening in everything that happens around me, basically. Like the people I've met, everything that's happened to me. Like, I don't think there's ever been a point in my life where I haven't had the right people around me at every stage in my life. Even though I'm not with the same people anymore, even though we've gone down different paths, we're not the same people anymore. But at the time that we were together, it was the time that we were supposed to be together, and you were there for a reason. And yeah, like I see this every time. Like every time, I can't even deny it. Like it can't be a coincidence. You know what I mean? Like just a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine like hits me up. He's like, dude, I know you're not very, you don't like a certain space you're in right now. I could put you in a different space. So look at this, and then let's see if we can set the ball rolling, right? Yeah. Now, it never worked out, right? None of that stuff we planned ever worked out. But a week and a half after that, I get another call, random person, right? Random person. Like this is someone I haven't seen in like 5 years. And they call me up looking to get a job done using the same stuff that my mate was trying to prepare me for, like totally not connected at all. Like not connected at all. Like you see how like I'm just a firm believer in that. But yeah, like I haven't like been to like a religious gathering in a very long time, not of my choice. Usually my girlfriend drags me to like her church and stuff like that, but I haven't felt the conviction to go in a while because of other things. I'm struggling. Like I don't believe I'm on the right path with the church I'm with, for example. Like there's so many things that I feel are wrong and I'm trying to figure it out. Like I'm Adventist. So like I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out if like I have no problem being Adventist, but I think I have a problem with my particular congregation. Like maybe. Maybe they'll hear it and they'll understand why I don't show up anymore. But like it's just those individual struggles, I guess. So that's pretty much where I am with my faith. Like I believe in a higher power. I mean, I still get down on my knees every once in a while. Like yeah, and I say what needs to be said. And we move.
Awesome, man.
I appreciate that. Like, you know, everyone has to have a point where they have to be real with themselves. So even if you've fallen out of how can I say, out of belief, I'm using it very sparsely. Even if you've fallen out of it, you still know like where you stand in your faith. I think I find that more important than pretending, just going there among people who you actually have some second thoughts about them and stuff like that. It's better that way, because eventually when you recover, and it's good that your girlfriend drags you to church, when you recover yourself, like when you recover your faith, it will actually mean something real. I find that more beneficial, because if we all believe in the eternal state of things, that's what's going to determine whether you make it or not. Not going every day and you don't even know where you stand. You're there listening to a preacher, man, and you can't come down to yourself to say, this is what I believe in or not. But the moment you come back the way you are, I'm very sure it's going to mean a whole lot more. It will be as clear as day, you know?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be contrived. It has to be a natural progression.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just feel like we've lost the ability to question, and it's something that's ingrained in us from the very beginning, since we're kids. Like you can't question anything, and that's why we're in this systemic oppression. Bam, like you start to question and just stay in line. You can't even question an internet service provider who you're paying to give you a service.
Well, yeah, like you already have bundles. No, I cannot see the bundles. You have them.
When did you buy your bundle?
When did you buy?
No. Have you tried to turn off your phone and turn it back on?
Yeah. What?
turn off your phone, but I'll be disconnected. Turn off your phone and turn it back on. Will I talk to you when I call back?
I'll try and call you back, and you'll put me on hold for 30 minutes.
That opens an interesting topic as well. Customer care or customer service in Zambia. What's your take on that?
Non-existent, fam. I mean, there's very few places. There's very few places where I think we're doing very well at this and I think I can't even name one off the top of my head. I need to think about it. I need to think about all the places I've been. And I can even give an example of myself. Like, even with some of the client projects that we've done some shit customer service. And it comes from just overestimating your abilities. It comes from not understanding your position in the market. It comes from just plain greediness. You know what I mean? Sometimes. So I think what I've learned from talking about these things with different people and complaining about like the different services I'm receiving is just be honest with yourselves about what you can deliver. And when you're finally honest with yourself about what you can deliver, endeavor to always do better. Like it should, I know there's a lot of theories and debates around it. The customer is always right. And a lot of that stuff is subjective. There's no one rule that applies to everything. So I guess for me, I can speak for myself. We're trying to do right. And we're trying to, I think we're just trying to do right. That's all.
I think one other thing that's like missing is courtesy as well in general. Like I'll say, like for us, at least in the IT field, even something that you already know should work a certain way, after some time it just changes abruptly. But in general, like someone is selling you fitumbua, I mean it's just courtesy where you just say thank you and stuff like that. The way these marketeers used to do it, you buy a bunch of stuff, they give you Kambasela, you know, that's cool. Now you go to Steers or Hungry Lion or what, and then someone is so rude already. Before you even open your mouth, this person has given you the look.
No, but that's the thing. People in customer service are supposed to be courteous. So it's like the attitude is like the golden rule for customer service. You get the point. It brings a better relationship for the business. You like he said, you need to know what you're capable of delivering. So I would say there are a lot of factors that has affected the service industry per se, because a lot of service workers are maybe pushed in that line of work while they're supposed to be maybe a football commentator of some sort, or even just a comedian. They're not willing to actually listen to somebody speak and to help in a way that that you would benefit both the company and the customer. Like the other day, I went to get quotations for some building supplies at Kuma's on mute. Your sound.
I'm
it's back.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I was saying that I was trying to get quotations for building supplies, and this guy was saying we do not give quotations here. And like, do you also give prices? He was saying, no, we do not. What? I was like, so how am I going to buy?
You know what? Like for me, I don't know if there's like one reason why we're all like this or why we do the things that we do, but it's very annoying. I mean, even just coming to things like you mentioned something about the service industry and how customer service people should by nature be should show courtesy, right?
Yeah.
I just look at it this way: we are all in some kind of customer service. Doesn't matter what level you are in the organization and stuff like that. Like you are there. So I think it's just, I don't know what kind of selective approach we take to treating people differently in this country, but it's very evident and it's very annoying. But the actual thing I want to talk about is the fact that I don't think we give ourselves enough rope. We don't give ourselves enough opportunities. Let's talk about communication skills. I don't know about you guys, but in my whole entire like school career, whatever, I don't think I've ever gone through any kind of communication skills training.
Yeah.
Like I think I went through like maybe 1 day training at my previous job, but after that, like it's been really non-existent. Like these are things that you have to endeavor to learn by yourself. And how many people do we know who are
Your computer science,
motivated to like? I'm sorry.
your computer science module never covered business communication during certain semester.
No, we were purely technical. So like for us, it was strictly the science, and the business science of it all was not part of that. It was very technical.
We had that in ours. I think
No, but how effective was your business communication course?
I learned the word etiquette.
I hope you learned to it ethics also.
I'm joking.
Okay.
They talk about how to like, I don't know, like relate with people in an office setup, office infrastructure and whatnot. Be,
polite, yeah.
All that stuff.
I think
Like,
any course has to have that.
that's what Mukuma says. He never had that, and he went to one of the prestigious. I'm not sure if it's still as prestigious universities.
I have a lot of thoughts about that, but that's not for today.
Let's talk up some controversy, man.
Nah, dude, like it's not even prestigious, fam. Like,
what does it start with? What letter?
Let's be passive, then.
don't they all start with the same letter?
What? Yeah.
It's Unza, right? Unza.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's international standing and job. That is public knowledge. It's fine.
Okay.
So we have a lot of problems we need to fix, and one of them is that we need to actually get to the teaching part. We don't teach.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe we do now, but I don't feel like I was taught. I mean, I was very passionate about the stuff that I wanted to do. I got into it intentionally. Yeah, I'm one of the few who had the opportunity to do what they wanted to do from the very beginning, and it was just very demotivating to be in a situation where someone expects you. They're not really interested in what you understand.
Mhm.
There's some level of interest, but no one really gives the right size, to be honest. And it's just, hey, you're gonna do this the way I want you to do it, or you're gonna fail. So I think at some point my grades were so bad because I spent so much time trying to understand what I was doing and not enough time like doing it the way they wanted me to do it. So it was very it can get frustrating because at the end of the day, you're here now, 4 years down the line, and you can't get a scholarship because you didn't do it the conventional way, like you lost out on opportunities. So it just feels like there's a lot of systemic oppression. This should be the title of the podcast: Systemic Oppression.
Bruh. But there are actually questions I want to ask. Do you think
Ask away.
The problem is with the way we are taught? Do you think local language should be like the main language that we use?
No,
I don't think that.
No.
I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's a problem. I think, well, I don't know what we're driving at this question, but I think in terms of like local language, I tie that into culture, and I think culture is something that should be taught at the most basic unit, which is in our homes. If we neglect our homes and expect the environment to teach culture, then I think we are making a mistake. And this is something that I talk about with my friends all the time. Like, people talk about, hey, people need to stop doing this and stuff. But look within you. What kind of values are you teaching the people around you? I mean, how do we expect change if us ourselves aren't willing to do it in our own spaces?
Yeah.
So, like the language thing, not so much. Like, just teach your kids the language if you know it. Send them to your grandparents if they know the language or they know the culture. Just make sure you're not teaching people the wrong things. In as much as I love my culture, I also think there's lots of things that's wrong with it. So we need to be able to question and be very. What does the Bible say? Test the spirit, right? So
yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There.
Preach.
Preach.
For someone who doesn't go to church, I quote a lot of Bible verses. Just people around me. So,
That's why, like, listening to you, for example, if you had to go like, yo, Muka, there's this passage I'm reading and stuff I'd like to discuss with you, I would prefer to discuss with you than someone who goes like every second, hi, Muka, the Bible says I should say hello.
They're like, oh, we thank the Lord. We thank you, Lord. We thank
Do
you.
you feel like that's something that's only like a problem that's limited to this country only, or do you feel like it's a global thing?
It's a global thing. But as is the case with most issues and problems, they have different factors, different environments. Like they're affected by different things. So the West has their own problems. And one example I like to give is diversity. Like diversity problems in the West and diversity problems here. Yeah, by definition, they are the same, but they are different. That's why, like, even when we talk about diversity in the workplace, we're not really talking about Hispanics, blacks. We have a different set of diversity problems. The sooner we understand our definition of diversity in this country, the better. So, like, that applies to all the other things. Identify what the problem is in your context, and then you can actually begin to start solving the problem. That's what I believe.
Yeah, that's true.
But
That's
again,
true.
like for that, I think another weakness that I found, like if you're going to talk about culture and let me just say the behavior of the public, you depend on media. You depend on media to spread this. You need proper journalists who can write articles about what's happening. Why should politics always involve what do you call this? Tribalism and stuff. Where does it stem from? You won't find most of that unless those documentaries that you get on ZNBC, and not everyone is watching ZNBC. I was going to say something worse, but not everyone is watching.
Actually, ZNBC
I haven't
has
seen ZNBC in a long time, so I don't know what it even looks like these days.
Yeah.
If I personally like notice something, right, I want to share it. What's the best way I can share it? Social media now, because it's there, but then you also have journalism itself. You find everyone's driving cars, picking up those newspapers. How many articles in there talk about basic things about our society? You find unnecessary topics like this guy was caught naked with this and stuff and that in a newspaper.
But I mean, like, all this stuff just goes back to priorities, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as a nation, and I don't want to speak for everybody, this is my opinion. Don't quote me. Like, we can have a conversation around this if you're interested. But I think all of it's got to do with priorities. I think there's a lot of propaganda, and we thrive off propaganda. And unfortunately, a friend of mine is always telling me the TV was invented to, distribute propaganda. So you can't even complain about that to start with. So in terms of how you can share your, like, whatever information you want to give out, I think you have many different avenues. We have many different journalists. I can't say like the media is free. I don't even know what state the media is in, to be honest. I can't speak for them. But all I can say is, even us as individuals, we fail to do the basics, which is just fact check your information. Like, even I fall into this trap. It's very simple. Whatever you hear, fact check it. The internet is there for a reason. Yes, there's a lot of rubbish on the internet, but you just need to have the patience to sieve through and just apply some analytical thinking.
Yeah, exactly. And platforms such as these, with podcasts and everything, we are free to do anything we want, and we are free to actually educate people if we have that drive. And
my friend, once this becomes a very large platform, trust me, Zicta will say something about it. Trust me.
Zicta.
There won't be.
That's the thing. While we are ahead, let's do it.
Do you feel like? Oh, okay. I feel like you kind of answered this, but do you feel like you're at a place where you having this platform, does it put you in a position of being a role model of sorts? Like, having
why are you flexing your muscles, man?
Yeah, I think power is the word Tumelo is looking for. Do I feel like I'm in a position of power? No.
You don't feel that way?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, but I think that's tied into what my values are, what I value as a symbol of power, for example, and
Yeah.
I think that's the same for almost everybody else. I mean, if you feel like just putting out an episode um, gives you that sense of power or influence over people,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's what will drive you, or that's what will govern your thinking. So for me, I have a different metric that I use, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be in terms of that metric or those metrics, those
Yeah.
set of metrics.
Are you trying to
So
be a person of influence in that regard? Do you want to like dive into politics?
no, definitely not. Like I'm very far from it. I think
Okay.
for me it's not my area of expertise. Like I've had lots of people ask me if I want to get into it and stuff like that. But
You're a good talker, so
I mean, yeah, that's the what's it called? As long as you can speak well, or I don't get why that's used as like a benchmark. Like once you have that, you can get in
No,
this place.
at this point, it's,
it's
we
more
are all
about me
fishing
just
here
speak
because this
well.
question comes sometimes. So Tumero is still waiting to find the one who says I'm going to be a politician. Hmm.
I know,
No,
like,
no. I don't see myself there, and that's not one of my metrics. No.
yeah, cool. Interesting.
Mm.
What gives you a sense of wonder?
Mm.
That's a very hard question. What do you mean?
I like it.
What do you feel like? Yeah, I'll dumb it down, or rather, just narrow it down and make it less general. What gives you drive to like wake up in the morning and do what you do?
Okay.
I've drifted away from the initial question, so I've just tried to like break it down into
Yeah,
something.
break it down. No, I get that.
Yeah.
I've got a few different things that I think drive me every morning when I wake
Yeah.
up. I think one of the things is
You're going to the gym,
um
man.
well
I've been following you on Instagram, flexing and
well
all.
I haven't been to the gym in a while, but I think at the core of it
Mukuma.
all, when
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning, I just strive to complete whatever I start, and I think that's the cycle of life. I'm very experimental. I love to try different things. I'm not good at a lot of things, but that doesn't stop me from trying to be better at them. Just trying to see if I can actually be good at something. I think
Yeah.
maybe it comes from maybe not really knowing who I am yet. And I guess
Yeah.
it kind of drives me. Every day I need to learn something about myself.
Mm.
And every day I learn things that I like and things that I don't like.
Yeah.
And at the core of it all, I just want to finish whatever it is that I start. And I
Nice.
think it
I think
bothers me
that's
if I
a
don't.
powerful attitude.
So you're trying
Yeah.
to problem solve every day and just pretty much complete the Tetris block that is Kuma.
So right now, I'm trying to see if like I can be good at um, managing a game development company, not the game
Ah,
development company, like not like in the development aspect of it, but just like make a game and see what it's like running a game company. Like, what is it like?
Mm.
yeah.
Like, what is it like? I was telling Tomelo this, like, we're getting on a project, and yeah, I'm gonna spend some money on it, but I'm happy spending the money because it's like a different experience, and it's just something I've never tried before, and I could actually be good at it, and I have no idea until I actually try it. Actually try it.
Cool.
Wow.
What about you guys? What drives you guys on an individual level, not as a collective, but at an individual level?
Mm. I think
I feel
for
like
me lately, it's been my friends. So these guys, my girl, like the people that have been around me. I'm telling you, lately,
yeah.
it's been you chaps. I haven't had reason on my own. But if I come back to myself, my true source is God. Like, what do I want? What do I expect him to do for him? You know, like, what does he need me to do? and I can't just go around doing things that people tell me to do. They say, "Oh, Muka, I prophesy that you're going to become this," or "Muka, you're going to become this." I don't get it from other people anymore. I get it from myself. I get it from what I see. Like one of my friends in the community here, he's struggling to make a living so that his son, who's just like 2 years, can have like his school sorted out coming into the future. So when I meet him every time, I go like, okay, so how's the plan going? You know, we should do those projects we've talked about, you know, those types of things. That's how I wake up every day.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think
That's wonderful.
Yeah, just in tandem with what both of you said. Anyway, it's just that sense of like trying to challenge yourself every day, trying to be the best you can be, I guess. I personally feel like a totally useless person if I'm not actively doing something. You know, like I get depressed in that regard, and this is like something that's not really addressed in this climate. Like I guess it's like an African thing, like the whole depression thing.
It's not real.
Aware, yeah, but like
they say it's not real.
It's not really looked at as something serious. So it's like if I'm not actively doing something, be it like by myself or as like a communal thing, you know, building something or just trying to innovate or try to like problem solve in a particular like sector or area, then yeah, like if I'm not doing that, yeah, I'm at a dangerous place at that point. So I'm always actively trying to do something and trying to challenge myself every day. So yeah.
Well, what drives me?
Yes.
So UFC, man. UFC. No, but on a serious note, it's just my faith, my belief and the passion to.
Forgot to say faith, man. I'm sorry.
What?
You know, I think we know already, so don't worry.
It's in your DNA. You can see it.
It falls under the sense of community. So when I'm being communal with everyone, there's that.
Yeah.
I see what I did there.
Yeah, we saw that, man. Okay, so it's with my faith and the passion I have that I think has been passed on from my mother, because my mother she's the reason why there's this foundation my father and my mother started out Chisomo to help the less privileged and everything. So that passion, that drive to do something for the community, not ourselves, not to better our family, but to actually, as we grow as a family, as we have a sustainable life as a family, we also, our neighbors have that sustainable life that we so desire, and to preach the gospel as well. That has driven me to, even though I have not really like been I would quote and unquote the ideal servant to carry that passion, that faith to an extent where I am seen as this person who's impacting more lives and everything. But I'm seeing myself doing that now, and with like Tumelo said, it's with the destiny that we came together as a team and everything. So I'm seeing great things happening now and in the future because of the passion we share. And for me, it's just destiny. For me, it's just knowing purpose for
Not to Melo, I totally I was about to add on to what you said. You know, when you were talking, you reminded me of myself the last year and a half, because I came to like this realization.
Well, that's bread.
Yeah.
Wow, dude! Wow.
Disturbing. Yeah.
And Kuma was trying to be all serious and
Sorry.
kicking it.
Now I can be
Oh,
serious
bro.
anymore. Sad.
Now
Your
you might
fault,
be
Muka.
calling
It's
a
really.
Guys,
Sorry,
yeah,
man.
came to the realization. I
Yeah.
was following.
So Kuma, you were saying?
Anyway, like the burden to be productive, the the burden to always achieve something. I think for
Yeah.
me it really weighed heavy because I felt like there were so many expectations. At the time,
Yeah.
we had just done our first conference. At the time, I think the community was getting to a place where we needed just an extra push over the edge to kind of like get us to a place where we'd be okay. At the
Yeah.
time, I think my consultancy company was just picking up because we've been doing it for like since 2015. So you can imagine we've been in the game for a while,
Yeah.
but we were only just like picking up then. And then I think I was at a good place with my job also. But then there was like this heavy burden that just was there, and it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger until one day I just couldn't take it anymore, and I just crashed, mentally just crashed. Like I couldn't do anything anymore. So
Burnt
like
out.
yeah, like I burnt out and not in a good way. You know, there's burnout, you go on a break 1 month, you're back
Yeah.
and you
So the
finally
burnout was a mental meltdown.
yeah, so like getting back after like letting go of everything for a bit and then not knowing what you want to do, like
Yeah.
not being sure what your purpose is, not being sure where you should put your energy, like what actually deserves my energy right now, you know, that sort of thing. And it's something that's it's gradual, like I haven't figured it out till now, but it's
Yeah.
like questioning everything and trying to figure out if it's something that I should put my energies in. And I think the crucial thing, and this is what I wanted to point out, is sometimes I don't have that in a day. Like I don't have that thing that I'm focusing on. I don't have that thing that's like, hey, I need to do this today. Sometimes I just want to take a break and not have the burden of getting something done.
Yeah.
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 Like
True. True.
Yeah, because
I think it's good to have
sometimes
that.
just the idea of purpose, it can also overwhelm you. Like you know your purpose, and then you can't even achieve it. Like recently, Moses was asking me about is there anything like perfection in the world, like in existence? Is there anything like perfection? And I was like, no, not really. Like in for the creator, right? You decide to do something, to you it can be perfect, but you always have that third perspective. Someone else will say there's something missing or it doesn't do something, you know, just like a pick here. And if you listen to that third perspective, you will actually feel like, wow, if my purpose was to build this, to sculpt this statue, and people are saying this part of it looks weird, have I done the right thing? What have I wasted my time? You start rolling back on it, and it just causes more stress than it was meant to. So I think for me personally, like considering what you've said, a reset, like whatever led you to come back to like the meltdown, right? I find that it's essential that if you find yourself in that place, you do a reset, right? That reset eventually will lead to something that makes more sense. Just like your break from church, because I actually feel you're still in your faith. Your break from church is essential for you to build back something that you lost, and maybe find something that you actually deserve. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I
Yeah,
get you.
like it's just like you cannot really like
Because it's mint
I asked
flavor
Mocha.
doesn't mean the cup increases in size.
The taste and
So you've been taking micro sips.
there's a tea bag in there, so like I'm just getting the droplets off it. It tastes really good. I'm tempted to make some more.
You're taking it raw.
Wow.
I feel like excusing myself for like 5 minutes before we close this thing to go make some more.
Why? No,
I need to have some water for more green tea.
no, man.
I'm joking. Yeah.
So yeah, like I was saying, well, what do you want to say? Oh yeah, in line with what we discussed, Muka, it's like a question: can you really exhaust an idea?
Yeah.
How can you really exhaust an idea? Because it all comes back to perfection. You cannot really the thing that you find perfect is not the same thing that Tumelo finds perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
So
I'm gonna quote. There's a writer. He goes. I think he goes by the name Astronautilus or something. So he was like, "Put up your hands if you're
Mhm.
living your life exactly the way that you wished." And for the rest of us with our hands on our hips, our work is never done because we are Sisyphus. So
ah,
if you look at the analogy of Sisyphus, like this is the guy pushing a boulder up
mm.
a steep hill. Why
I
did you
admire
your head?
people. I admire people like you in life who remember sayings which are long like that. Because I've
Yeah,
tried
man.
that my entire existence and I can't.
I'm not
No,
butchering,
but
but yeah, but yeah, just in tandem with what you're saying, like our work is never done.
yeah, it's never done.
It never is done.
We're work in progress.
Yeah,
We shouldn't beat ourselves up for actually failing to do a particular thing, because
yeah,
that should be
Or even
like,
just doing the bare minimum.
yeah,
yeah.
we shouldn't beat ourselves up. We just have to
Because
pick up the pieces and build a better
because
thing.
it's life.
It is what it
It's life
is.
within
It
itself.
is what it is.
We because the tree is growing. It's always growing against gravity. So
Yeah.
up to the end of its life, gravity is all it will be facing. There's always resistance, and without resistance, in the end, you fly into the sun and burn.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
One last question.
Yeah. Damn, lots of philosophy has been dropped in this episode. Huh?
Yeah,
Anyway,
we should probably
Mukuma,
start wrapping up because my last question was gonna be how long are your episodes usually?
as long as the guests the guests want them to be.
I think the
That's
better
an
question
interesting.
for you would have been, what's the longest your podcasts have gone?
Yeah, what's the longest? Because
I think
I
3
haven't
hours.
listened. 3
Almost
hours.
like 2 hours 40 minutes. I'm trying to remember. It's something like 2 hours 40.
No, we had like a 3 hour podcast with Larato. I think that was the longest one we had.
Oh yeah, that was long, eh?
Yeah, it was like 3 hours.
Yeah,
3 hours.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, we
What's the longest
we
one you
lose
had?
track of time actually.
I'm sorry.
What's
Even
the
if we say like the last podcast, Tumelo indicated that we've reached, and then I'm like, okay, let's start. You start drawing down conversations to say, like, you're pointing out that we're about to end, and then all of a sudden you go on and on and on.
The mosquito, I don't know how this mosquito ended up in here, man. Like, it's only one, right? It's only one. So, like a bone to pick with me. I'm gonna do that.
Man, I want to ask about that thing you've done with your hair. You're trying to be Elvis.
No, yeah, oh my
He's
god.
made a rich.
But do you guys watch the UFC though?
The one on the island?
I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan?
Nah,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not a fan of boxing, UFC. Wrestling. What is wrestling is the official word, right? Official name for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
WWE, what?
Yeah,
That's
that
good
one
because
annoys
I
me.
am also not into all of that. Very good.
You're not
But
into
I
it.
don't judge.
You don't
I don't
judge.
judge.
And then I
No.
do judge.
No,
How
that
you
statement doesn't sit well with me. You don't judge. So what are you trying to say?
I'm judging. I'm judging you.
It's
and my
all choreographed, right? It's choreographed pain for like this
WWE.
wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's choreographed pain. Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're still hurting someone even if you're saying you're acting. You still see blood.
This guy.
How is
Oh,
how is that protecting you from the mosquito?
I've sprayed my room. I've just sprayed my room, so I'm trying not to.
this guy.
The insecticide.
The mosquitoes are carrying corona, I understand.
Are they?
No, but
Isn't that why you're wearing the mask?
wait.
It would have been easier for you to just find the one mosquito and just spray it. Pew!
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got this thing. You can use it. You want it?
That's worse. You cannot. That's worse. That's worse.
I don't even.
Don't actually try
I
that.
just left the meeting.
Yeah, I think it might have had an error or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'll probably start winding up now.
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
he
you
going?
need to.
Is he going to reconnect? I wonder.
I'm sure he
Maybe
is.
he's out of
If
Zamtel
we're gonna
bundles.
wait for him, then we can. Ian, whose door is that?
Mine.
Not mine.
Enter the Moses' place.
That's Gwebe.
Nah, go ahead. All right, so Kuma, like you said you're Adventist, right?
Yep.
So in general, like what are you thinking about your church itself? Like if you okay, apart from the congregation, which you can change, right?
Mhm.
If you came back to being how can I say? Because right now you're a Christian on the low. Let me just use those terms.
Okay.
If your fire came back on, right? What was in what where would it lead you? Would it lead you back to the Adventist? Like your girlfriend, she's Adventist,
No.
not
No, she's Pentecostal.
she's Pentecostal. Which congregation? What? Yeah, there are a lot of Pentecostal churches,
Yeah,
but
I know there are a lot. This is
Yeah.
Kablonga, Mount Zion, I think that's what it's
Mount
called.
Zion.
I just forgot the name, Moses. I just forgot the name. But,
And now
uh,
how do you see it compared to being Adventist?
nah, I'll tell you what I tell her all the time. I think to answer your question, if my fire came back, I have no idea where it would lead me. But
Yeah.
I know that if it led me down a particular path, I would go down that path until uh, in my questioning, I find maybe it wasn't the right fire or something. If that's even a thing.
Yeah.
But as things stand right now, in my state of mind, I'm not thinking about leaving the church.
Mhm.
I'm not thinking about leaving the church. I know I want to be in the church.
Mhm.
So like, it's not a question of. I think I've been to, and this is because of high school. I don't know what it was, but there was something about having to leave school every Sunday, even if you're not going anywhere in particular. And I think you remember this. I've been to every church, almost every church. I've been
Mhm.
there, and there's very few places that I feel like home. Very few.
Mm.
So
Okay.
yeah.
That's
It's
interesting.
curious. It's curious. I because usually when you're in such a state, that's why I was asking. People would be like not knowing where they're going to end up. But if you still feel like your faith is still aligned in a certain way, I think it's easier to regain yourself other than wow, I'm leaving the Catholic. Okay, so where do you go now? You know, like if you do read the Bible, you've come back, you're on fire, you believe in God again. Like if you come back to that and you have a question about the church you go back to, I think it's a very dangerous place because in the end, you go like, okay, fine, since I'm not going back to Catholic, I'm going to try this Pentecostal house, and there you find all sorts of things that's in conflict with the way
What
you
you
are.
believe in, yeah.
Yeah. You start thinking, okay, maybe I'll try one more and I'll try one more, and then you get tired because you can't even go back. How are you going to go forward to something you're not so certain of? It's trickier that
Mhm.
way. But
Yeah, true.
if you still feel like you're going to be Adventist, I think it's easier. It's going to be easier. It's just that congregations, you find issues in almost every congregation.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
politics are
like
part of life. Even in our personal relationships, there's lots of politics. So I guess you can't really run from that per se. But I think I can ignore it for the time. And I think not being involved in most of the activities helps. Like you don't get sucked into the meetings. You don't get sucked into the complications with decisions or
yeah,
like like I go do what I need to do, and hey, I'm done. Like I'm gone. See you next week. You know?
that's actually my feeling right now. I just feel I should just go to church to worship and do the necessary and come back home and carry on with my life. I don't want responsibilities to say, oh, I should, oh, the youth group, oh, the men's group, oh, the deacons, and then no. I just want to go and worship, listen to the word, and come back home. And the first thing is just acceptance, Muka. You just have to accept your situation at the moment, and you looking at how you could move past what your current state of mind and everything, and look forward to what you're going to do next. So it's important to know where you're at and where you're going at the end of the day.
Because if it was on the other one, because I'm on the other one, like left the Catholic, I failed to settle, and I know it personally. It really hurts. Like, you know, your faith is back. You know, you believe in God. You know the scriptures. You know who God is, and then every time you try to settle in this place, it doesn't fit. Like, for example, the same, you're going to a congregation and they're already, wow, Muka is such a committed guy. Let's put him into the choir. And then you're like, no, I can't really say no, because like I know I have to do this for God, but no. And then if they say,
you have to say no. I say no all the time. If I know I cannot.
There are churches that like kind of
force it on you,
guilt trip you, kind of, not the direct way, right? Like, you have to serve God, you have to build his kingdom, and then at the end of the sermon, we've noticed some of you youths, we need you to come up in these places.
But that's the thing, we're in the business of truth, and the truth should be evident. You have to say the truth. You have to tell them, no, I cannot be this. That's like I had to tell. I was in the choir. I had to say, oh, yo, me, I cannot do this anymore. You've seen. So So that's you have to be truthful with yourself and to the people around you. At the end of the day, that's just the bottom line, man.
Then you're tough.
I know it's not about being tough.
Well, like you know, you're even looking at when they say, like, they see how hard working you are. He's back.
Zanto, guys.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
And,
like
I had a squabble with the mosquito.
You found it? Did you lose?
I'm here. I'm alive, unscathed.
Well, we don't know if you'll be alive for much longer. You know how mosquitoes work. It's not
We
instant.
didn't know who the winner was. Just give me my props. Give me my props, man. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's
all right. We're tying up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're just at the end of talking about churches and responsibilities in the churches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
what's Kuma's take on that?
Yeah, like for Kuma.
Do you tithe, Kuma?
Well, like,
What?
Do you tithe?
I haven't tithed in a very long time. I won't even lie.
And yeah, that's a whole other topic.
There's a church in McKinney, an Adventist church in McKinney. These guys put up flats at the back of the churchyard. These flats are nice, you know, they're 2-story flats, but the church is not there. There's no church.
What?
the church built the flats?
Yes, for the pastor, but they haven't finished building the church.
What? Yeah, see, this is exactly what we were talking about yesterday, Muka.
Yeah.
I didn't even know those were like the church flats. I was even telling someone, you know what, I think I'd like to live in those flats. They look really nice. And I was reminded that those but anyway, like anyway, this is
I should appreciate our pastor.
That's as well.
Yeah.
No,
but Muka, don't generalize it. It's
no, as in
just,
you know how I picture the traditional church, like the SDA, the Catholic, the Baptist, and so on. when they build their churches, that's when other things come. That's the way usually.
Okay, this is getting ridiculous.
This guy is doing what?
What's happening?
Shit, what's going on?
Affected by himself.
Oh.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, wait, we're taking a video, like we're recording this, so it eventually.
I'm still here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Of course, we can see
Okay.
you. We could see both of you at some point.
Oh, okay.
So I thought you were doing like a mannequin challenge. Okay,
How
something.
buggy this software is. Anyway, nothing's perfect. That's pretty much
Yeah.
subtopics we covered today as well. All right.
Okay.
Any last words?
Wait, is it a guest or?
Oh yeah, I don't even know anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
we hijacked the.
we need to do a proper crossover episode with like everyone from CodeCast and everyone from Ethos, because it's only you, Kuma. You can't speak for the rest of the guys.
We're still going to publish this though, but it's going to be published on Ethos. So
Yeah.
Ethos.
What? You're going to publish it on CodeCast?
Yeah, I think
Well, I was going to, but now that I'm the guest,
Oh,
I could put it as a bonus episode.
But it's been
okay, yeah, cool.
also been questioning us. I mean, you interviewed me, and I'm a very shy person, so I'm also a guest.
So what are you trying to say?
Bonus episode to close with.
Well, for me, I'm gonna put it as a bonus episode. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but we have to do a proper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I think we can schedule a proper one.
Yeah.
No, I think for me, I really appreciate this one. I was very skeptical about streaming because right now what I'm using is my phone.
I had to fight the mosquito. I dropped out twice. I duplicated myself.
No, but so far so
Phenomena.
good, man. So far
Yeah.
it has been.
For you guys, not me. I have to be the victim.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. At least one of three of us is fine. Yeah, you can be the victim.
Sure.
Just take.
You can be the victim for this one. It's fine. We'll try our luck next time.
Mhm.
Cool. All
Sure
right.
that.
shared exit. So we'll just do to quick, I don't know, shout outs. This was Muka.
Dano Tumelo.
Oh wait, we're doing that. Moses
I'm trying
Chilunjika.
to figure out what's going on right now. Like, what is this?
Oh, last words. Last words.
Last words.
Yeah.
That's a thing. Last words. Okay, so thank you guys for having me. Thank you for having me. And my name is Mukuma, and I'm from CodeCast's Zambia. You can find us on almost every streaming platform. We try to make sure that we give you no excuses. Do not listen to us. So yeah, your favorite streaming platform, we're there. And yeah, listen to our content and give us feedback. And we are looking for guests too. So if you want to come on, just send us an email or follow us on any of our platforms or at CodeCast's ZM on everything.
Well, yeah. Muka, do our outro as well.
Yeah, throw in the plugs and everything.
Yeah.
But no, we should throw our plugs.
Jerry, you're already making me laugh. All right, this is Muka, and okay, I should stop. This was Muka from the podcast, and
Yeah.
you can catch us on YouTube as Ethos Podcast, Facebook Ethos Podcast, Twitter Ethos Podcast, Instagram Ethos Podcast, and if you search anywhere else, possibly we'll be there. And we hope we can catch you all next time.
Peace.
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 Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot,
All
man.
right, guys. No, not a problem. All right, guys.
All right, bye
See you on
bye.
the next one, man.
How do you log out? Oh, you're still here.
Yeah, because I needed to stop the recording so it can actually save the video.
Oh yeah, man.